My name is Brian Henselman.
And I'm his wife, Katie Henselman.
Been going to Hope for about 8 years, a little past.
Yeah, I can never remember the exact number.
Yeah. We played music with some folks in the general area before, and then through that we were invited into a service one Sunday, and then we're like, whoa, this is an interesting setup. We love it here. This is, and then it was like the next weekend that we were up on stage. For being a group leader, it was a matter of there's a need. There's geographically there was an opportunity to open up our home, have people who are more coming from that side of town, and have it be a little bit more convenient, remove the friction for them. We were just generally willing and able.
And I think we had a lot of very good group experiences, a lot of great leaders in previous groups, kind of as mentors.
Well, second stage, aiming at building a building as a tool to reach others. It's something that we've been in alignment with for a long time. So as soon as we heard that, we're like, yeah, how do we help? Where can we contribute? What's needed, kind of thing. And since it was primarily a financial generosity initiative, we had been giving already, and I think we felt like we were at what felt right for us, but knowing that we needed to elevate that to help contribute to second stage was something where we needed to prayerfully consider. It ultimately came down to committing to financially giving at a level that was more uncomfortable for us. And we knew that regardless of what would happen, God would provide. And yeah, a couple months after the commitment started is when I had a new job opportunity, and that uncomfortable giving was no longer uncomfortable. So we had to take a step back again and reconsider and say, well, how do we contribute more, and how do we make it again where we're feeling like we're being more generous? It's almost like God was saying, we think you, or God was saying, you could give more, right? Like you could contribute more to this initiative, and I'm going to help make that happen.
Now, especially that we are going to be starting a family, it's kind of awesome to think about our kids being able to experience all the really cool stuff that Kids Connect is able to do.
Second stage kind of leads one to believe that there was a first stage. First stage, we weren't really involved in. We were the beneficiaries of it, right? There was a small, tight-knit group of people who said there's a need in the community. Let's start this church. And we were one of those people who ended up coming to that. One of those people who ended up saying, hey, this is impacting our lives. And it was all because of the generosity of that small group. And what we're seeing second stage as is that the next level to elevate us to have the tools necessary to really reach people beyond what we've done thus far. We thought that we could start contributing, and that's what second stage is all about, is how do we get to that next level of being able to reach the unchurched.
How do you know Katie and Brian? I would see them a lot at church, when they're playing or singing, but that was about it.
I met Brian and Katie when they first started volunteering at Hope in the music ministry.
The first time I met them, I thought, this is like the most adorable dating couple I've ever met.
I met Brian and Katie when I first started playing in the Hope band a few years ago. And last year I joined the group that they were leading, and I'm in their group again this year.
I got to know them a lot better when I joined their group.
Greg and I have just started becoming part of their small group this fall, and we're really enjoying it. They definitely have the gift of hospitality.
Every time they make me feel like they want me there. That's what I have felt every single time without fail when I arrive.
and they interact with everyone around them just so genuinely, and I really admire the way they treat other people and the way they treat each other.
Cooper, their dog, though, his welcoming game is A+. Every time I showed up, he would run back and forth in a yard for me. He makes me feel like I'm the most important person in
More
the
so than
house, in the world. He makes me feel like I'm Justin Bieber. Yeah, Nathan, maybe cut that.
They're just really hard workers at Hope and are really dedicated to Hope's ministry.
They're super kind and just really pure-hearted people.
Brian and Katie have impacted me on a personal level, just in their encouragement for me and concern for me when I've gone through difficult times.
Right before we started Second Stage, I met with Brian and Katie and told them about what we're doing and where we're heading, and all he said was, Jason, you can count on us. We are in.
And I think their generous spirit is probably obvious to everybody who knows them.
I've seen over and over how they're so generous with their time, with their life, with their influence, and invest in other people with everything they do.
Thanks, Brian and Katie.
Brian and Katie, thank you so much for serving and having such incredible hearts for the kingdom, for Hope Church, and for our mission. Thanks, guys.
That was unexpected. It's easier to be generous when you recognize the generosity of people around you, and how we wouldn't be where we are in our lives without the generosity of others, and that all just points to God sacrificing his only son for us, and it can't get any better than that. So it's really just on us to do our small part to try to make that known for other people.